Hey guys, it's Carolee. I just want to share an extra little mini episode with you every single week because I want you to know that it's possible to do this thing called living your best life and doing the thing that lights you up while being a busy mom. And I want to give you a little bit of a background, behind the scenes look at what's going on in my actual life and how I am doing this, how I'm doing the things that light me up and being a mom at the same time. So I'm going to tell you about what's going on in my life and the lessons that I'm learning. Take a listen. So I'm reading this amazing book right now called The Power of Receiving by Amanda Owen. And this is not a new book. It's actually one I picked up at the thrift store. But I saw the title of it and I was like, I need this book. And with Christmas being the time of year that we're in right now, but this is a really, really appropriate topic to talk about right now because I know that I'm not the only person who struggles with receiving. And so the idea of this book and this topic is that receiving is just as powerful as giving. It's actually as needed as giving. And yet our culture and our society has taught us that it is more blessed to give than it is to receive. And so we are so much more comfortable giving than we are receiving. And maybe you've noticed that in yourself. In fact, today I just heard somebody say that, she was asked the question, what's your most favorite gift you've ever received? And she had a really hard time answering that question. And she said, I've always really loved giving gifts. And I put so much thought into the gifts that I give people. But I have a really hard time accepting gifts and receiving gifts. And it's like, oh my goodness, what a tragedy. Because what about all the people who put all the thought and effort and energy into giving her gifts? And she can't fully receive them because she's not open to that. And how many of us find ourselves in the exact same position where we want to give and give and give and we love it and it feels so fulfilling and beautiful, but when it comes to receiving, it's uncomfortable and scary and even painful. And yet, in order for us to give and for it to really feel as good as it does, there has to be somebody on the other end. Somebody has to be willing to receive in order for the giving to really feel as good as it's supposed to. So think about that every single time that you are on the giving end, there's someone on the receiving end. And then every time someone's trying to give you a gift, how great it feels for them to be able to give you a gift. And how it feels when somebody rejects a gift, or even something that is gift-like a compliment. Have you ever had the experience where you go to give someone a compliment and you say, oh my goodness, you look so great today. And they go, oh no, nope, not this whole thing. No, I woke up like this. Or they brush off your compliment and they don't receive it. How does it feel to you as the giver of the compliment when someone doesn't fully receive it? It doesn't feel good, does it? It feels so much better when someone's able to completely, fully embrace what we've been able to give them. And so we should look at that in reverse and really think about working on how we're able to receive. Because the more that we can receive, the better it feels for them and the more balance that we're going to have in our lives. I'm not super far into this book. I've only been reading it for a couple days. Let's see. I'm on page 48. It's been really good. I've been really reading it fast. But there was already an example in here that had me stopped in my tracks, where she wrote about this example of the mom and wife, because that's where I'm coming from, and there's probably a lot of you in my same position, just sitting and relaxing while her husband makes dinner and her kids do their chores. And I realized instantly how uncomfortable that made me feel. I have a really hard time just sitting and relaxing, period, but definitely not while other people are working. Oh my goodness. And I've realized as I look at my life, there's a tendency to hustle for my worth. Oh my goodness. Can any of you relate to that? Do you try to do more? Do you try to be productive to prove your value? And I tell you this because I struggle with it so much. I struggle with it so much. I'm constantly trying to prove my worth, to hustle and show that, I can do enough. I can accomplish enough during my day to have value. And it's like, that's not how it works at all. We just innately have value. And one interesting way to look at it is how much we love like newborn babies, and how much we love to dote on them and give to babies. And they don't really give much in return. They just receive all the time, right? That's all they do. They receive. They just soak it all up, right? And yet we are drawn to give them more and more and more. And there's no guilt on their end. There's no hustling for worth on their end. They just know their value. They just know what they need and ask for it. End of story. And I feel like that's such an important lesson that all of us can learn. And I look at my kids, specifically, Joshua, who's severely autistic and kind of semi-verbal and type 1 diabetic, and he's not hustling for his worth. He just asks for what he needs, and we give. And he has so much value. And if I can see the value in him, and I can see the value in a newborn, then why do I struggle to see it in myself? And so I'm asking the same question of you. If you can see the value in everyone around you, if you can see the value in a newborn, if you can see the value in loved ones who aren't capable of providing as much hustle and value and productivity as others, how come you can't see your own innate worth? You deserve to receive without any reciprocity. You just get to receive. You receive air on a daily, moment-by-moment basis, don't you? You just get it from the universe, from God, right? We breathe in this beautiful, amazing air. We get sunshine for free all the time, right? The rain pours down on us and replenishes our earth. If we can receive in those ways, perhaps we can allow ourselves, little by little, to allow ourselves to receive in bigger ways. When our loved ones give us Christmas gifts, we should receive them with an open heart and so much gratitude. we deserve to be loved on too. Because we know that we love on them all the time. But we deserve to be loved on too. And so as Christmas is here, really, I want you to think about this at this time in this season. You also get to receive, and it's so powerful. It's so powerful to receive.